I can add on to that because I bought a house also in Malaysia, right? And
Suddenly everybody when I talk to about
Suddenly you realize everybody has a Malaysian
every
portfolio,
time I talk to someone about the topic,
Yeah.
and then they talk, at first never say. 1 hour in, and then it's like, oh yeah, actually, right, I bought a property there also. Welcome back to the Find Your Place podcast. I'm your host, Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut.
Hey, Justin here from OrangeTee Tie.
And today we have a great guest. Yes.
This is Lou, okay? I'm from the 1865 movement and happy to see everybody. Happy to see you guys. Thanks for
you.
inviting.
Yeah. Is it still 1M65? I thought the other time you were saying 4M65 already.
Matter.
It's a brand already,
It's a brand
right?
already.
Okay, yeah. It is what it is already, right?
It's just a Coke, right?
Yeah.
Now got Coke Light, Coke Zero, Super Coke, whatever. Now it's still Coke.
Yeah. Fair. But today we're not here to talk about 1M65, okay? Yeah, because we are more interested in your life in Johor, right?
Which I just came from.
Yeah. Exactly.
I shone all the way down from JB just to make sure.
Wow,
I
thank
attend
you
this.
so
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Was it smooth?
Oh yeah, I'd be surprised. My way from Singapore to JB, this is school holidays. This is 1 week school holidays. We expect it super jam.
That's right.
Nothing.
You Causeway? You're talking about Causeway.
Clear both ways. Yeah. In smooth, out smooth. So it's a matter of timing.
Timing lah. Yeah.
Timing. Yeah. Catch the wrong time, you're dead.
Yeah.
But just catch off-peak hours.
I mean, eventually, if you choose to live there, you will know the cadence, right? You will know how to do it.
What is a good time?
Yeah, what is a good time to come in and out and all that.
Exactly.
Okay, fair. Yeah, so today we want to talk more about that and also at the same time kind of lay out for our audience like what to look out for, when you're exploring a Malaysian property market, specifically Johor lah, right? Because Malaysia is big, not like Singapore. Yeah? So I think that's kind of the whole discussion of where we're trying
Happy
to go
to share
today.
Yeah,
So
got some experience in it.
Yeah, exactly, right? So we got the expert view and we got a personal view, right? So maybe for a start, how about lay down for our audience, why are you there? What is the thought process and, all that jazz?
Okay, so my experience is more at a personal level. I visited a relative during Chinese New Year. They invited us there, so we go there in a posh-looking, in a posh-looking environment.
Was the relative also from Singapore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Singaporean.
So they also went
Singaporean.
there already.
Yeah,
Okay.
they are more or less, in that sense, more because there's business there. They stayed there, so I was invited there. I was very honored, and it's
GCB.
three-story, near GCB style, semi-D or bungalow. I can't remember, and things like that. Go in. And I was like, the car parked in front, you can park, 6 cars or something like that, And we're just touring the house, and I was just like...
I love how you can tour the house.
Tour, because you can get lost in the house.
Yeah.
You can
You need to
lost
get
in
like
the
a museum. You need to put on those headphones with the
So I always went in and I was invited even to stay over at their house. And their bedroom for one of their guest room is bigger than my HDB living room, that kind of thing. It was like, wow, this is like, So it's not very polite, but I did ask the question, right? Which Singaporeans always love to ask.
How much? Yeah.
They say, wow, this one expensive. 2 million. I said, wow, 2 million Sing. Tough. No, 2 million ringgit. Then I was like, imagine, have you ever seen those kind of video where suddenly formulas start coming out? Tung, 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 the kind of formulas start coming out. And I was like, then look at my wife, look at me, straight away, telepathy, ESP, whatever, we both of us like, 2 million ringgit, okay? Then, of course, you cannot be too...
Of course.
Yeah, 下水, right? Then after we, disengage the conversation, 2 million ringgit, okay? We calculated, okay, maybe I don't need such a big house, okay? Because I did see smaller ones, Yeah, 2 million ringgit. And then I quickly asked around, check Property Guru and all this kind of thing, right? And found that there are 1 million ringgit houses also. Right? Then I was like, wow, this could be, it could be something.
And that was what opened Pandora's box for you.
Exactly. Then we said, okay, let's check it out, right? So I was then looking for it, and guess what? Something about it is that once you have this idea, okay, and you realize that your Singapore dollar can stretch a lot,
Yes.
you really want to stretch it. So I was looking at the $1 million, $1 million semi-Ds and terraces, and it was like, it's all very nice. It's just like, $1 million, Sapa Ching, 300,000 Sing, I can stretch a little bit more, then that $2 million house, maybe we didn't reach. Maybe we didn't reach, right? So I said, okay, I tell you what, okay, we'll look for the 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and then we crowdsource opinion and things like that, right? So we hit the limit of our budget can stretch, and to a lower limit, set this and just say what can I, and then put it up for people to vote.
That's a content idea. Yeah.
Of course, everybody vote for the big one, right? And the worst part is the wife fell in love with the big one. It's very difficult to fight your wife in this kind of thing, right? I said, why do you consider this one, And then as we try to squeeze in a little bit more, then the house starts just gravitating towards this one, and in the end, I land back to the $2 million house, So it's my 2 million ringgit, okay? So I was just calculating 2 million ringgit, okay, in a super prime JB estate. The equivalent would be maybe a 6th Avenue equivalent or a Holland V equivalent. Cannot get me a 4-room flat resale in Singapore. That's very sad, right? That's very sad, right? So there, you really get the most atas of the atas. Here, I cannot, with the same amount, I cannot get a 4-room flat resale. Yeah, okay. So it's like a...
Then it becomes like,
it's all about context, right?
Yeah.
Then you just
say yes.
You just do it lah. Yeah.
Slip in and the rest are history.
Fair. So from maybe just to give our other audience a bit more color, right? So that's the price of the do you call it GCB?
No lah, it's a semi-D. It's a semi-D in a garden and gated community, and I'm quite open about it. It's a place called Austin Heights. Okay, Austin Heights is quite a nice place. May not be the best place, not where
Austin got a lot of local.
Yeah, okay, and it's a very crowded place. I like people. I like crowded environments. Atas. So young people hang around. The equivalent would be like Holland V. Really, it's a Holland V, Clarke equivalent kind of environment. Very hippie.
The university is there, so there's all those stuff there.
Yeah, a lot of schools there and things like that. So I'm sure I can half the budget and still get a very nice place. So there are a few draws, right? One of it is, of course, the location. Let's say family, relatives there. So that part, you cannot put $1 to it, right? Like it can be just maybe 500 meters away and don't feel the same, right? When the family is there, community is there, back to those days like kampong kind of feeling, right? We don't have that anymore in Singapore. I don't know my neighbor's family, what they do or whatever. But now, here in the environment, it's a very Malaysian thing. I walk around the estate, people start opening the door and just say hi to you and ask you where you're from, that kind of thing, right? I was like, that's not very normal. Yeah, yeah.
So do you pay like full cash for it, or like do you manage to get a mortgage, or what's the kind of permutation you want?
So in my case, okay, we thought about it, and then we said, at our age, we don't want to have any overhang of some loans and things like that, and we decided to pay it up in full. Okay, the key thing is we structure a budget to know where is the limit we can stretch without feeling stretchy. Right. So this is far no further, right? So with that, that's it, right? Of course, if you have 5 million ringgit, they are, 3-story, triple the size, whatever. I'm sure that, yeah. But at the end of it, I think we need to right size the amount. The house is already, in my opinion, on the edge of too big already. Yeah. No, I'm not trying to flaunt. I keep saying, I mean, emphasize this, okay? This is not a Howlian session. Many Singaporeans can do what I do, whether they want or not, it's out there. With the same budget, I cannot afford a 4-room flat in Singapore. That's the key thing, okay? Yeah.
No, and I think for a lot of Singaporeans, if you're not used to living in a big house, right, then you will struggle living in a big house, right? It's not a Howlian. It's just a lot of problems. Last time when I was a kid, right, I will go to my friend's house, and then at level 3, and then he will call the mom, hey, can you bring the thing up? Then I was like, hey, why call? Just go down lah. But now that I live in a 3-story house, right, it's like every level must put the socks. Every level got water bottle.
A fridge on every floor as well?
So every floor is a fridge, because it's just crazy going up and down, right? So these are some living permutations that I think, it's not a Singapore, Malaysia thing. It's just if you're not used to living in a bigger place, there are some problems, and it's not the best. It's not nice, having to kind of move up and down and all that.
And I suppose at some point of time when you grow too old, you don't want to have upstairs, downstairs. You will climb stairs and things like that. In my current flat right now, we have a 2-story masonette. My dad will stay downstairs. My dad is 85. He said, he used to stay upstairs. He says, once I come downstairs, I don't feel like going up until the end of the day. Right? Then we clear up the study room into a nice bedroom for him. He feels very happy, right? So, you're right? Life have to make some adjustments.
Different seasons, right? Along the way.
Well said, different seasons, yeah.
Look, I might jump in. So, of course, for you were coming in from the context of, wow, my money can stretch so far in this space. But beyond that own utility thing, you as an investment person as well, what were some of the investment considerations that you also put in place, aside from not wanting to stretch too much and all that? I mean, were you not worried about currency depreciation? Malaysian properties, also are not known to be the most reputable in the world, to be the best investment, stuff like that. So was that also at the back of your mind while going through this process?
So that's a very good, very, very good question. I get asked this question 50,000 times. From the start, I was very, very clear. Okay, this house will not be an investment asset.
So you're very clear in your mind from
this
the start
is a
already.
complete purchase and write off, right? So I tell everybody that, in most cases, and this is my view, you will not make a single cent from Malaysian property as a Singaporean, okay? And the most important reason is that the Sing dollar is just too powerful, and the Sing dollar appreciates tremendously. We do have an uplift recently from the ringgit. I was just lucky. I bought it when it was about 350 to 1 Sing dollar, 350 ringgit, 1 Sing dollar. It's just lucky, not that I time it. I don't know how to time ringgit. And now it's, 330 something, But most of cases, the ringgit just go, slowly down and down and down. So I would seriously tell everybody that if you want to buy a Malaysia house, enjoy it as a holiday house, retirement house, but not for investment.
Not as an investment.
You will not get a return from it, whether from a rental perspective or from an appreciation perspective from the Sing dollar form of calculation, right? You will not get, right? So once you are very clear that you buy this just like you buy a Toyota Corolla, more like you buy a Prada bag, I just buy and forget. You not get a single cent of return out of it. Then it's very easy already, right? So it's just minimize, set a budget, minimize that you can write off. Okay, not everybody can write off, but try not to overstretch yourself. It's up to a limit and just then forget it. Then you never think about it, right? So I have no consideration of ever need to sell that house for a capital gain. Need to rent it out, right? And very clear to me, if there's going to be a gain, it'll be me, for example, moving to Malaysia and renting out my Singapore flat or something. Then you can make some money from there. But so that is taking advantage of that one. Okay, that
and
one
leveraging on the monetizing Singapore.
Yeah, but Malaysia itself, I think for most Singaporeans is a tall order.
Okay, fair. So that is the conclusion, right? But the thought process there, what have you calculated? What is the kind of average yield? Or you can also chime in based on what you see out there in the market today, such that you conclude that, okay, this one, forget it.
I'll be frank with you, the capital appreciation is there. Okay? From a ringgit perspective. The rental return, I don't know. I mean, I hear say, but you're an expert. Please tell me, 4 to 5%. If you're lucky, it's not bad. But somehow, the minute you convert to Singapore dollar, tak boleh jalan lah. You just cannot make it lah. It's so. Then the best thing to do is don't give yourself this pressure or worry. Just make sure you get it for the right objective. Then you never think of that. It's not S&P 500, it's not OCBC, it's not UOB, it's not Microsoft, it's not Facebook, right? And it's not a condominium. To think about all this, right?
Yeah, it's Austin Heights.
Yeah, it's just a Malaysia. It's literally like a Michael Kors bag that you buy. It's or a Levi's
for you
jeans
to
you buy.
use lah.
For you
Add
to
to your
use,
collection,
get utility out of it, and don't even think of next time how much do I need to sell my Levi's jeans for.
So what do you observe then in the JB problems? JB, we just focus on JB today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yields become a bit difficult, especially if you're buying condos, because you're talking about landed, right? Landed is predominantly where the locals also choose to stay and to buy. Condos is a very different proposition altogether. And when most Singaporeans go in, they go into the premise that I want to buy a condo. Firstly, because the price point is lower. Secondly, is of course we talk about security. A lot of people worry about buying landed when it is a non-gated estate. You leave the house there, you want to go and use it as a weekend house. The next weekend you go there, your furniture inside maybe you have a bare house already, right? Stuff like that. So I think a lot of people go into the context of investing in condos because again, coming from Singapore, where majority of us stay in flats or condos, it's very naturally inclined for us to go there and look at condos, right? So we won't look at landed. So when you look at condos, then it's a very different proposition because firstly, the locals in Malaysia, especially in Johor, most of them still look at landed. So the secondary market for condos may not be as robust as landed.
It's all the out-of-state people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's number one, right? Then number two is also the supply situation, right? I mean, you look at all the biggest projects that are being launched there are all, of course, mainly condos. And not necessarily by local developers also. There are developers from other countries that also go into to build.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're
I
also
mean-
by other developers,
Oh,
other
yes.
countries.
Of course. They also invest in Malaysia.
Mainly the Chinese?
Chinese as well. Yeah, you've got quite a few nationalities, right? I mean, Malaysia just, of course, is very appreciative of foreign direct investment, right? And of course, real estate development is one of the best games to play. And of course, when they build there, it's not like for us here, we have so much governance, like URA controlling how much GLS sites we release, right? So they just, for them, if they think they want to build something beautiful there, they build something beautiful there. Then tomorrow, another person wants to build something beautiful there. So the supply is not regulated lah. So that's why that becomes a bit of an issue from a resale standpoint, right? Whereas landed, for your case, different. Because anytime you want to sell, the locals there don't mind absorbing because they appreciate it. Yeah, so condos, I think, of course, the resale part becomes a little bit tricky lah. Especially when Johor is also such a large state. You've got so much land there, right? If this project doesn't do well, they just simply need to buy next door and build another better one. Then that is forgone and forgotten. But so what residual value is left after that? Right, so the condo game, I think, is of course always a little bit riskier lah. But having said that, of course, condo, if you liken it to buying, say, in Singapore, you probably want to buy it in the better locations near the Pusat Bandaraya, the main township where the banks are, the so-called at least the local economy is lah. So in any case, there are jobs there. Jobs, that means you can possibly rent out to some people who actually might be working there. Right? But then having said that also, that means you're renting to the local population who may be from KL or maybe from Muar, Segamat, they come to Johor for
Malacca,
a job,
those side,
that kind of thing, right?
KL
So-
people don't go Johor for work.
Very unlikely
Very
lah.
unlikely. KL people will come to Singapore if they want to.
Yeah.
They'll make the
But then
money.
because they are also local, I don't want to call them expats lah. They are local workers. They are based on their income level, so there's only a certain limit to how much they are able to pay for the apartment, right? So you might be buying it from the context of a Singaporean price, like, wow, this is
Nothing.
1 million ringgit is like, oh my goodness, is the price of my Toyota,
Yeah.
But this Toyota can yield me something, right? It's not a 10-year straight line depreciation. This one actually is still a physical asset. So they go on that premise, but 1 million ringgit is actually off the median price of actually quite a lot of local properties, right? And then you take it back again to that rental market, who may be lucky able to pay you 1,000 ringgit a month. Yeah, so if you're lucky lah, so 1,000 ringgit, you capitalize it on a 1 million ringgit property, your yield is actually not very impressive lah. Yeah, so that's why even from a yield perspective, of course, it's not there. Of course, a lot of people are now going in. I mean, we get that sense also. That's why we're talking about this topic today, because we also have Johor properties, and recently the uptake and the inquiries and the demand is very strong
From
from
Singaporeans.
Singaporeans.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure you also feel that.
You led the wave lah.
Yeah.
I'm sure lah. You keep
Every-
posting
too many
video
people watch
about
your
it.
videos
Then
lah,
all the
that's why.
inspiration come. Right? And all your kawan, all
I'm
Austin
I'm
Heights.
just at the front of the queue. I did not pull the whole queue, okay? I always get this accusation. Yes, I'm in the front of the queue, okay? But I could have no power to create the whole queue behind, okay? Yeah. You'll see me a bit too up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, next time I visit you at Austin.
Yeah, that's how influential you are lah. Yeah.
Maybe I add on a few comments,
Please,
if you don't
yes,
mind,
yeah.
from
Yes,
observation.
Yes.
So I've been, clearly a lot of people write to me, to ask about all this, given I make those decisions. And I think there's a few very important things we need to take note of that are very recent in development. Number one is that there is a fierce inflation in Johor Bahru. It's across Malaysia as well. Okay. But in Johor Bahru, I would say half of it is caused by Singaporean. Because Singapore has a big inflation, they all become economic refugee. Okay, let's humble ourselves. Don't see ourselves too up. Okay, we become economic refugee to escape the inflation fire. We go in
So
and
then
just
we put the pressure on.
just wipe out some of their toilet papers, their tissue paper, and all stuff. We just get their petrol, whatever reason is. We buy a lot of things there, and that's lifted up the economy a bit as well. Of course, there are imported inflation as well from global as well. And property prices has been a recipient of this inflationary fire as well. So I've been speaking to a lot of locals. I now mix with a lot of local friends and things like that. It is increasingly more painful as well for the locals to buy landed property. Even those. So landed property, I think there are largely two types. One is garden and gated, and one is not garden and gated. We all foreigners, we cannot live without the garden and gated. It's very uncomfortable. Okay, but the locals will buy the non-garden and gated, which is a lot cheaper. But even those have gone down in value. There is a new trend that's coming out right now that the locals are increasingly becoming more acceptable to condominiums.
Is it because of price point?
It's a bo-pian situation, no choice, right? Because the landed properties have gone up,
Which is what
so
we
much.
experience in Singapore.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing, yeah.
So you bo-pian. If everything has gone up, you cannot eat. You cannot eat atas food. You go to the hawker center, eat. It's the same for property. So increasingly, more and more locals are beginning to accept condominiums. And the condominium prices are going up as well, fierce. Okay. The second very important turnaround, okay, is that there is an RTS link now being built. There's a lot of skepticism when it first conceptualized. Even while the pillars are being built across the coast,
Still
people
the
say
skeptics were there, yeah.
will never build a
So
top
cynical,
whatever.
yeah.
It's I think the skepticism is largely towards the and it's understandable because the political environment then in Malaysia was very fluid. Okay. And of course, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim is an amazing Prime Minister, and and clearly he's put a lot of stability in some of these things. So we now see that thing now being connected now. The top layer for the train is now there, and then the Bukit Changga, if I pronounce it correctly, those stations are being built and the woodlands are being built. So everything is coming past. So the Singaporeans all saw that now and realized that, hey, it's getting real now, okay? And historically, if you look at two countries where now they have an ease of connectivity, then of course there'll be a massive migration of the population from the more expensive one to the cheaper ones, okay? And we're seeing that right now. That happens between Denmark and Sweden. That happens between Milan and Switzerland, okay? Milan and Lugano, which is part of Switzerland. That happens between Shenzhen and Hong Kong, okay? That's happening right now. So we see now a massive outpour of interest with Singaporean buyers in Malaysia. I get every 1 or 2 days, I get an email message on this topic and things like that, And people ask me, can you please introduce your real estate agent? What do you think of this place? Introduce me a lawyer, introduce me a renovator, okay? And it's very, very rudimentary, but it shows demand, okay? I think the third thing is that don't forget we have a huge population of Johorians working in Singapore, okay? And the inflationary fire here is mad. They used to be able to rent a HDB room or something like that. Now one HDB room, jicheng.
Yeah.
4
1,000.
digits already lah.
Yeah. Last time it's a lakpa, right? Yeah, before COVID, around there. Yeah.
Now it's 1,000. 1,000 is equal to 3,003. You can rent my whole, my whole, my whole landed property sometimes, Yeah. But it's really, so then they realized that they cannot stay in Singapore anymore, cannot rent. But this thing need to continue. So they started buying all the condominiums around the causeway. So Princess Cove and all sort of thing has broke $1 million in the kind of thing. Who ever believed condo in Malaysia can break $1 million, you know? But they are now breaking $1 million and basic looking size, you know, it's not like, you know, penthouse or something like that. So these three trends are happening, and I observe it from an experiential point of view. I don't know macro trends, but I see it right now, and certainly you will get more and more in a massive way happen there. Now it doesn't mean that we'll make money from it. You know, I don't intend to make money, as I said, you know, in Sing dollar terms. But this trend, I think, will likely continue in a faster pace in the next 1 to 2 years as the
RTS gets
as
up.
the RTS gets up, and RTS will get up by end of 2 years.
Yeah. And the RTS project fine is very serious because my friend is an engineer at Sunway. Say
After
that-
the high speed rail thing already.
They
I
say
think
the fine is very serious, so we work very, very hard. Yeah. Cannot fail. Yeah. It's from KL, come down to Johor. Not all the time they send people down to Johor, right? So they are taking this very, very seriously. Yeah. Okay. So from a Singaporean standpoint, right, because sometimes I get a bit of mixed messages around this, right? There is a minimum property price that foreigners must enter at, right? But then sometimes they say that, this project is special, you know, so it's a bit jumbo. Can you guys give us some clarity, like what is what, where is where, you know? Is there a minimum price that Singaporeans need to buy at or foreigners need to buy at?
From what I understand, the overall rules is that, you know, condominium is $500,000, okay, and landed property is $1 million. That's the foreigners' eligibility, nothing less than that. There are some unique developments. And I think it's because maybe there's some national agenda or at least state agenda.
On the special economic zones.
Exactly,
where there are
right.
these exceptions.
Okay,
like, yeah.
and they do give some of this, make some exception to this thing. It's dangerous for me to make a comment because I can only know Forest City. Okay, okay. I know there's a place called, is it Medini or something like that?
Medini, yeah.
Medini
Yeah.
is give some
Legoland area.
Yeah, the area. But let's talk about Forest City. Right? Forest City is my guess is that they're trying to solve the problem of Forest City, right? So they give a lot of perks there and things like that to try to solve the problem of Forest City. And I hope one day they will. But this is clearly one place, you know, they give exception over, and I can understand that, you know, it's overly vacant right now. You know, I think those are exceptions more to solve isolated developmental issues. Yeah.
Okay. So the blanket thought process is $500,000 for condo, $1 million for landed, and and then any other thing would be like specific lah. Is that
Generally in Johor is a 1 million mark for foreigners. Yeah, right. They still have to keep it at that range because sub 1 million is supposed to be meant for the affordability of the locals. That's why for foreigners they try to cap it to the 1 million.
And I must say, you don't even need to impose that rule right now because there's no landed house below $1 million.
Yeah.
It's guarded and gated. Okay?
It's quite shocking because the median house price before this whole Iskandar and all these talks came in, it was like, I remember seeing the figure was somewhere around 200,000 to 300,000 ringgit per
about
house.
there? Yeah, about there.
Yeah, and
My
today
cousins
it's,
bought at that price. Yeah.
It don't exist anymore.
no exist.
Yeah.
It don't exist. No matter how small, we're at Eco Spring. Some of these places are really, by local standard, a lot smaller. 1.4 million, 1.5 million. Even those, you know, unrenovated, a bit older, 1.1, 1.2. Yeah, boliao, and just totally don't exist. As I say, inflationary fire has... in fact,
actually it's worse than Singapore actually, right? Yeah.
because Singapore, we have the powerful Sing dollar to cushion some of this impact. They didn't have,
And Austin is considered an old area already. Yeah. It's very mature already. 20 years about that?
It depends on which part of it. Okay, at least I would say about around 15 years to 20
So it's
years,
quite old compared
depending.
to some of the newer Medini, Eco Spring, all those are still developing. Sometimes you're still not sure got people staying or not. But Austin is vibrant. There are a lot of people
Established
there.
lah,
Yeah,
very
very
established,
established. So it's a different arrangement. Okay, fair. So what about, I mean, I know you never take the mortgage lah, right? So you pay in full. But what about the mortgage arrangement, like Singaporeans when they go over, you know, what is the possibility? You know, is it easy to get based on what you hear from people around? You know, what is the situation?
I give my anecdotal because I've got a lot of the 165 community they give me a lot of feedback because they went to check it out. Generally the banks there love Singaporeans. Okay, for one simple reason, is ability to repay is high, default risk is low, and things like that. And I don't think we stretch. We don't need to stretch too much. Yeah, here you buy a Singapore house, you probably stretch yourself as much as you can. There, people maybe take 50%, 40%. Not unthinkable. So the banks, they actually love Singaporean customers, and it's quite easy. And the best part is the real estate companies and the real estate companies and the lawyers will they will take care of you at every area. Well, they will introduce you to this banker. You probably get some kickbacks and things like that. I know I mean legal kickbacks, right? Some referral fees and things like that. But the best thing is that everything, you just leave it to them. They settle everything for you. Yeah. So there's a one-stop shop in that sense, right? Everything there can be solved with a fee. Yeah, everything, right? Apply for water utilities. Wow, you go and queue yourself, don't know how long, right? There's a runner to do that for you. Okay, yes. Paying, everything is settled,
As they
right?
say, lah, if money can solve the problem, it's not really a problem.
Yeah,
lah.
in Chinese, 钱能解决的问题就不是问题. And there, okay, I'm not talking about big money, right? Yeah, some fees, runner fees, 100 ringgit, 150 ringgit, they solve everything for you. Yeah. So I kind of like this very very unique environment. Okay, so back to the question on loans and all this. The banks are very happy to have Singapore customers. Yeah, it's not difficult.
I can add on to that because I bought a house also in Malaysia, right? And
Suddenly everybody, when I talk to them about
Suddenly you realize everybody has a Malaysian
every
portfolio,
time I talk to
right?
someone about the topic,
Yeah.
then they talk, at first never say. 1 hour in, then it's like, oh yeah, actually, right, I bought a property there also.
No, he said bought Malaysia in JB, right? Actually in Penang
Yeah,
also. By the way, Malacca.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay,
share with us,
yes.
share with
No,
us.
I think the loan part is very interesting. You're absolutely right. Singapore income is so easy in Malaysia to get it. But what surprised me the most, right? Because of course I had to gear there. I wanted to hedge my currency risk. So I did a loan for the property. The process of getting through it was quite tedious. Worse than Singapore. But I don't mean worse in a worst case, but as in it took a long time. So you might be thinking Singapore income very clean, but they were very meticulous. Every in and out of your bank account, they studied. They wanted to know your outflows, your inflows. Which to me, actually, I mean, of course, being at the brunt of it is, I find it very irritating
bit
because it took
invasive
almost
like that,
3 over months to get a loan approved. Singapore, you send in your loan application. If you know the banker, within a couple of days, you have it already. It's so fast, just like that. And of course, we have SingPass, everything going sweet, come out.
Everything is a face scan
approval
away.
is, Over there, goodness, suddenly, okay, payslip not enough. Let me look at your bank statements. Bank statements not enough. Let me look at your last 6 months of transaction history, in and out. Then you have to explain, get your company to send a letter for this.
Can die.
Can die. Really. Most people actually, I think, would fall out after a while. But if you're so devoted, you see the 3 months through. But you see, what that tells me, right, is that then I have a bit more faith in the financial system there. If they were just dishing out loans like that, you also better start to get a bit worried, right?
It's a bit
Subprime
concerning.
and all these things will
Yeah,
come to mind,
yeah.
right? You need a loan, no job, it's okay. Here,
Yeah,
go and take the money.
Ninja
right?
loan, right?
Yeah,
The
correct.
ninja loan, no
Ninja
job.
loan.
Yeah,
Yes.
no job,
no job, no
no
income and all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So what surprised me was how thorough they were with the process. Even though they like Singapore income, they like Singaporeans in general, but yet and through the process, they were still very, very meticulous.
that is
Which
quite
it
cool.
shows a bit
Yeah.
of reliability and
Yeah,
robustness
yeah.
to their financial mortgage system.
great.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Right?
That's good. Yeah,
Yes.
So, depending on
Yes.
which side you're on.
Correct lah, correct lah.
But again, I would like to give my personal experience. When you want to move, again, I travel a lot. I live, in the last 10 years, I think I live 75% of my time overseas in various countries. We cannot use the Singapore efficiency and cookie cut it across the rest of the world. I dare say I've never come across another country so far.
Is able to do that, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen one. Maybe there are. I haven't seen one. Maybe Japan. I don't know, but I've never seen another country. Yeah. Okay. That is as efficient as Singapore. Kudos to the Singapore government. It's not a pie mapi to our government, but I think every Singaporean appreciate that, right? Okay. But if you try to extrapolate that experience to overseas, you'll feel very frustrated. Very, very frustrated.
No, because I stay in KL, right? So every time I come in to work, right, it's very fast. Chop, go out, pump, then straight away grab, then I'm in the CBD already. Then sometimes the client say, hey, you just land us. Yeah, because I carry the luggage. Right. And then it's just, you don't need to think, it's a mindless process.
So seamless.
So
right?
seamless, right?
Yeah.
And then you just go there. It's so smooth, but cannot say the same for other places. Yeah. So yeah. Fair. Okay. And I would just want to pick your brain a little bit, because I understand these are not how banks work are not always a legal mandate. Sometimes it's internal processes. They can decide how they want to run this, right? So is there something where, how about I open a Malaysian bank account in Singapore? That means a Singapore bank account with a Malaysian bank lah. Maybank, CIMB, one of those big banks. Does it make it simpler? So if I already hold cash in the Malaysian banks here, does it make it simpler to get this process done on the other side?
Not that I'm fully aware of, but I don't think it's
so.
gonna
Nobody
make...
said anything like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Not like you're going to get... Do you happen to know about this?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think there's
okay.
any significant advantage.
Because
to do that.
usually they run as a separate BU, right?
Correct.
Yeah. It's not like that. So just
Yeah.
curious about that. Okay, fair. Then what about taxes, right? Because everybody talk about like value, shock, everything, right? But how's the tax, right? Does it bite into it?
Okay, so I learned again when I bought the house, I didn't think too much. Never checked so much and things like. Yeah. So, but I then realized that that there is such a thing called capital gains tax. So if I'm not wrong, if you sell within 5 years, there's a fierce capital gain tax. Okay, and
After 5 years, it's fixed already.
after 5 years, they still a capital gains tax, but it's a lot lesser. Okay, so but still there will capital gains tax, something very alien to Singaporeans, right? So we cannot swaku go there, apply the same principle. A lot of Singaporeans love this. In Singapore, we do this, therefore here's this, yeah.
Then the Malaysian will look at you like, Singapore, what?
Exactly, yeah. Right. And sometimes I cringe. Recently, there's a news that this Singaporean TikToker or some like go and bang table at the immigration officer or something. Yeah.
Hey, please
over
lah.
something, right?
Please
right.
don't do it. Yes.
In Hokkien, it's 扯旗 law, right? Yeah. The immigration officer can very, very powerful. We don't even do that in Singapore, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? So it's the same thing, right? So there's a lot of rules in Malaysia, okay, that we need to know. So taxes, capital gains tax is clearly one, okay, and the rest actually are quite normal. There is stamp duties, a bit higher for foreigners. I'll be frank with you. Ever since I know ABSD is so high,
Nothing else is high.
yeah, when I go there, you just feel like is immaterial, right? Because against our ABSD, nothing else is like, yeah. If you kena the worst here already, right? Then there is it's not that bad lah, not that bad, right? So I didn't feel much about it. I don't know exact amount, but it's a single digit, low mid single digit, if I'm not wrong. And property tax are the normal stuff and things like that. I think that's about it, actually.
Yeah, nothing too far from Singapore's convention. Yeah.
Okay. So then so I think that kind of sets the ground on like some of the money things, right? But what about from the process standpoint, from a personal experience that you've been through this whole thing, right? Because you make it sound like very smooth, right? Is it really that smooth, like the whole thing, like buying, shifting,
I'm
renovating?
sure in
all that?
Singapore, I've never personally bought in the recent years bought any. Sorry, in my life, I've never bought myself a private property. But you may not know, but about 30 years ago, I worked in ERA. I was a real estate agent for a couple of years. Yeah, very few people know that. Okay, and even those days, our system is very efficient. I'm sure you gotten more efficient. Okay, so if I borrow that kind of efficiency and apply it to Malaysia, we will die. Yeah. You cannot tahan because everything there takes a much longer time, right? Much longer time. The paperwork take a much longer time and things like that. So the sale actually took about. I remember signing it somewhere around May. When I finally got the handover of the keys, somewhere in October. Okay, so but they say it's because it's foreigner. Okay, I think in Singapore, foreigners purchase a private property also take longer than a Singaporean.
Not really.
Not really.
Yeah, not
Okay.
really. Because
Yeah.
most of the time we do the test, the AML, anti-money laundering, and all the checks up front already. So by the time you put your check through and go through the process, it's pretty much the same process. Yeah.
So in my case, they say it actually took a slightly longer time. And a bit heng sui as well.
Because you're too famous.
No.
They see your videos. Hey, Loo is here, leh.
I don't think you know me, okay? Yeah, but I think the other one is that their key thing is that they are for foreigners to purchase with a banking loan will take even longer time. Okay, sometimes the approval can take up to the whole process can take up to a year. Okay, I've heard of this. I didn't experience that. Maybe because I didn't take a loan, but they say can take up to a year. So don't be shocked if you buy a house and you take up to maybe 1 year to complete. So that can be quite frustrating. The second thing is very frustrating for me, Loo Cheng Chuan, is the approval, getting the approval to renovate. That took months or so. Yeah, here I don't even know that you need approval, or I'm sure the system is so efficient that, you just submit and that's it. There you need to get the architect, okay, to draw up something because I have extension of a room. I didn't tear down, the whole house and rebuild again, just extension of a room. They say that requires a lot more approval, okay, but it's a very common thing in my estate. Wow, that one takes.
So, and there was precedence or the other of your
many
neighbors
many guys have already done it already. But that approval took about 4 or 5 months.
Just the approval alone.
Just the approval. We waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. Yeah. So to even start work, took a very, very long time. Yeah. So that part, it's something that there's no other way. You just gotta wait. Yeah.
Just for the swakuness of Singaporeans, right? Because we most people live in an apartment, right? So you cannot extend your apartment. There's only so much you can do, right? Is it the same process for landed properties here? Like if you want to build extra, then you have to submit
course.
archi design,
Of
all that. I think that's just kind of how
For landed,
landed
yeah.
properties work, right? Because you are essentially they want you not to compromise the infrastructure of the whole thing, right?
Safety.
Yeah, it's a
regulations.
safety,
There's load.
regulations.
Yeah,
But I
correct.
don't think
Okay.
you take 4 or 5 months.
Not so
approval.
long.
Yeah, I'm sure Singapore efficiency is amazing. Again, right, we face this frustration because we carry the Singapore mindset over there, right? And that's something that we all need to realize that we cannot extrapolate the Singapore experience to overseas. We're not running down the other country. The frank truth is that Singapore is damn efficient. Super efficient in many, many ways. Despite many people KB about, government and all that stuff, but we are really, truly efficient.
And sometimes you got to live overseas to be able to appreciate that. Right? Yeah.
If you have a specific question, right, you can put in the comment section. Okay, then we'll try to direct it to Loo, to share some of that. Okay, fair. Yeah. So I think you shared quite a bit, on this whole process, the insights, the numbers, and everything, right? So in that sense, after going through this whole thing, what are some takeaways that you think everybody else, everybody should kind of take on before they pull the trigger? Right, because this is essentially your own recount, right, of the whole thing. Any last things that you think our audience should know? Other than food is good lah, all those things don't need to say lah. Right, like everybody know, that's why they even consider that. What I know is as crazy as some people even send their kids over there for enrichment class.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pushing the limit.
No, I heard people doing it.
I heard of people sending
yeah,
to
yeah.
international schools because the international schools are a lot cheaper than Singapore one. I think it's pushing a limit because our schools here are damn good. Okay?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying schools, I'm saying the
Enrichment
enrichment class,
class.
so they drum lesson, dance lesson, all that,
Why?
they all
Is
go
it
there.
because
Yeah, so because to them it's like anyway my kids are gonna do ABRSM, they're gonna do whatever. It's standard ma, the teacher here also teach grade 5, the teacher there also teach grade 5. Might as well I just go there and then do a whole day.
And then soon I can go for massage and makan.
Yeah, exactly. So people plan around it. So I think that discussion is already gone already. Like Singaporeans don't need to know that there's great value, in living in Johor
From a
or
lifestyle
JB, right?
perspective,
From a
yeah.
lifestyle perspective. What they want to know is like, what are the other kings that I need to know before I pull the trigger to actually shift over and not just just do a 2-day 1-night thing. Yeah. So that's that.
I think the biggest plus of why Singaporeans want to have a holiday house in Malaysia or retire in Malaysia or even just they do weekend trips to Malaysia is simply because you stretch the dollar a lot more. I done a video before and said, Singaporeans, when you're there, be careful, you use the word cheap. Yeah, you go cheap, people start calling you a bird man. Right? Yeah, very, very rude, okay? But I'm very guilty of that. Super guilty of that. And still guilty of very, very difficult to avoid this term, right? Because that's the biggest premise why you go there. Okay?
Every corner you're reminded, right?
I mean, don't say Singaporeans don't have good food also have, right? But at what price? Right? What price, right?
The hae mee is $12 now.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
The economy rice is not economy anymore, right? So that kind of thing, right? I was in a dinner with friends and family as well. 3 tables at Danga Bay. It's Bayview something restaurant. Yeah, the seafood restaurant. Super nice. You order anything, it's like just atas. One table had probably 8 people or something like that, right? It comes out to be about 2,000 ringgit, right? 2,000 ringgit, and just a few weeks ago, we were at, and you have, at the 2,000 ringgit comes with one big garupa, crab, chili crab, and plus maybe 5 or 6 dishes, a lot. Eat until you die, kind of thing. Right? 3 tables or slightly above 2,000 ringgit. We were at No, different group. We were at eating seafood in Singapore in a high end, not high end like what's that? What's the chili crab at East Coast?
Jumbo.
Jumbo. Wow, two table, 2,000 over Sing. No kidding you. Yeah, 2,000 over Sing. Food is good. Jumbo very nice. Yeah, the 2,000 over Sing, right? Sing, okay, give one. I was there just a few days ago, 2 days ago. I went for, I have a few cracked teeth, okay, like to bite ice and eat hard things and things like that. Eventually, you reach my age, my teeth start cracking inside. So got one hole here, that up to reach a stage, beside level, must go and see a doctor. So I just look around. I didn't even ask around, just go straight into a dental clinic, I went to 3, 2 of them were full, one of them, has a slot for me. I went to deep crowning, 2 teeth crowning. The truth, I don't know how much crowning. Do you know how much crowning costs in Singapore? No, nobody knows, right? Yeah, so the best part is this is how Singapore like me. Okay, please don't be like that. But I'm like that, right? Go to the doctor there. I said, one crowning how much? 1,000 ringgit. Wow, so much. Cheaper can give discount. No lah, fixed price lah. Give some discount lah. Very expensive. Okay, anyway, fixed price. Okay, anyway.
You tried.
Yeah, you try. Yeah. Luckily, he never pulled the Singapore card on you. You sound like Singaporean. Why did chip?
I speak English because English accent is the same. Okay? But the way I speak 讲华语, they either thought I'm from China or Singaporean. But then it'll be very, but I try to speak, add a bit, boleh lah, that kind of thing. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Then I realized how much it costs. Right? They call it zirconian crowning. What the hell that is, doesn't matter. In Singapore, it's about 1,500, 1,008 per teeth. Sing.
Yeah, the dollar is stretched. What else? What is the sell, right? Yeah.
So people say, Mr. Loo, you cannot afford Singapore private property. That's why, you stupid idiot, you missed the property wave, go invest in stock for what, you stupid idiot. I get that this almost every day. It doesn't matter, okay? Yeah, that's why you go and buy Malaysia property. I say,
And what's your answer?
I say, my teeth crowning, 1,008 Sing versus 1,008 ringgit, right? My seafood restaurant,
2,000 ringgit versus 2,000.
2,000 ringgit for 3 tables versus 2,000 Sing for 2 tables. Right? And there are many more, right? Yeah. So this house here, okay? Yeah. Buy one semi-D. From my house to my Jurong house, HDB, it takes 35 minutes. Travel. No, the travel.
Through the customs and all
Through
that.
the customs, there's not much jam, okay? The same amount I pay for this one, I cannot afford a 4-room flat. My CPF, when I retire, my CPF life, I calculated already. I even did a video on it, okay? My CPF life, I'll get roughly, okay? And every month $4,000.
Times 3.3.
$4,000 for me, $4,000 for my wife, $8,000. $8,000 in Singapore for a couple, 20 years time, because I now still young. 20 years I still alive. What the hell can $4,000 give you? I would say, I want to use the word subsistence living, then people say no lah. Okay, average living. There, 8,000 times 3.3, sampa 26,000 lah. Okay, 26. I actually challenge people, try spending 26,000 ringgit a month. Try that. Yeah, it's so difficult, no? Yeah, it's actually so difficult. I have to think of getting a driver, get a maid, get a gardener, Yeah, and that is how far I need to push. Every day, one restaurant meal, And my wife keep reminding me, you will freaking die early.
Yeah. Your calorie intake.
You'll freaking die early when you do that. Don't think about living to 100 years old, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, but I die happy, right? Yeah. So in the backdrop of all this, I think there's it's very difficult to say no. Of course, people say, but JB dangerous. You can get robbed. Your house can get theft, and that kind of thing. Is it true? Yeah, it's probably true. Okay. Again, you're extrapolating a Singapore experience over there, right? That's why Singaporeans feel very unsafe and things like that. I do as well, but I travel a lot to the rest of the world. I travel the most of my time to France, to Italy, to Spain. At night when I walk, every 10 steps I walk, I look back once. Yeah, I look back once. People, so the minute something a step behind, I look back once. I've been pickpocketed over the last 10 years in my work in Europe 10 times. 3 times successfully lost things. Okay, 10 times. 10 times. I don't think I get this kind of experience. I don't need to look behind when I walk in Malaysia. That kind of thing, right? Yeah, I'm not saying it's safe like Singapore, but relative to some other parts of the world, I'm not talking about third world country like Zambia, North Korea. I don't know why. We're talking about Europe, even London now is
Europe
dangerous.
is very problematic.
Yeah. Okay. So in the backdrop of this, I think some give and take with the way the Singapore dollar is being stretched. I think I can accept a bit of inefficiency. Worst case, I take 35 minutes. I drive back to Singapore. I get to enjoy a bit of Singapore life. That's my perspective. Okay, so I know very, very calculative, very.
I mean, that's why we are asking you.
Very calculative. Some people say, Mr. Loo, you're very disloyal. Yeah, very disloyal, right? Okay, you should spend all your money in Singapore and things like that. 我跟钱过意不去 why didn't you do that? I'm never disloyal. Cut my blood. It's all Singapore really flowing out. Yeah. So, but I think it's perfectly okay in retirement. Just stretching $1 to live in a place you're happy, where you really maximize your life. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. I agree. And yeah, about the Europe areas, it's quite scary. Yeah, when I was in Paris, my Parisian friends say, you don't go here, don't go here. Then I said, I can only go here and here. So, yes.
I would say Europe now is like a third world country, Yeah, it's not just people who don't travel the world don't know how fortunate we are in Singapore, and don't even know how JB is much safer than some of the other places. Yeah. It's it's so. I think out of every 10% who have been to, let's say, Barcelona, okay, I would say half of them kena before. Yeah, at least half of them kena before.
It's organized.
Yeah, in the streets of Paris, people urine everywhere. The streets are smelly, stinky, dangerous. It's smoke everywhere and things like that. It's like that we were walking beside a train station in Paris, and my son and I were there, and we suddenly noticed this stream running down, and things like that. My son, water in Singapore, just walk over it. But my son as well. I said, that's urine. He literally freaking jumped. Like jump is like, how can it be, right? Yeah. Then I said, you look over the other side, a 2% urinating at one corner, and there's just stream of water coming down everywhere, right? I'm no insult to the French, the French themselves know that as well, right? So again, I don't see this kind of behavior in JB, that kind of thing, right? So it's, I think it's very decent, nice place, you know.
And if you live in the gated, guarded, even more secure, right? Multi levels of like checks to go in. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, fair. Thanks for sharing your story and walking through with us, some of the ins and outs of personal experience, lah, right, through this thing. So in closing, right, maybe I just want to ask everybody, right, do you all get the sense, the consensus is, do you get the sense that when you enter Johor, everything just slows down? Do you feel so?
First of all, okay, in Singapore you get a lot more stress. Okay, uptight. I do feel it, right? There's uptightness where you need to level up, with your peers. There's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of rat race. Cost of living is really very high and things like that, right? There, I would say there are more room and freedom for different types of lifestyle. Okay? If you want to chiong, you can. Okay. If you want to be entrepreneurial, you can. If you want to relax, you can, right? And I think I think the environment there allow a bigger breadth of diversity, right? More inclusive for a bigger one. Here is very typical, right? It's you don't work, you die. You don't fall sick. You fall sick. You either fall sick and die, or if not, you go to hospital, you will get killed by that kind of very sad. That kind of thing. It's very stressful. Okay, I'm sure the environment here, okay, is also self-inflicted because the environment is like that. You also want to join the rat race. I'm sure you can try to detach yourself from it, but because the environment is so driven and so then you bo pian, right? Yeah, you bo pian. You just have to follow everybody. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Appreciate.
Thanks for inviting.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Wonderful chat. Yeah.
Amazing. And I think our audience know you lah. So don't they? Anything you can go to the 1M65 channel. Yeah. And thank you. Yeah. We'll see you in another episode. Bye.
Bye bye.